Now.
GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. Action, Dabatola, Toki in the zone. Breaking down the latest, straight to your phone. From Web 2 shifts to Web the waves. News, deep dives, hot takes for days. Tech's evolving, the world's in spin. Markets move, let's lock it in. Gen Z's here, no time to snooze. Tune in now, get the news. GM. Wake up, let's go. Web 2, Web 3, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, wake up, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show. GM, let's go. Web 2, stay in the know. GM, start the show.
GM, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another GM Live. Action and Toki are completely stunned. What? Potato Scott? Is that what you're saying? You look like potato with the things on. But hey, so we're here. It is Thursday afternoon. Actually, I am on the East Coast right now. Yeah, this is how it's starting. I am still exhausted from a long road trip, but today we got a lot going on. So yeah, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, some commodities, the economy, all that fun stuff. Action is smiling ear to ear with those big goofy headphones on right now. Action, Toki, how you guys doing this morning? Toki, yours don't look good.
GM. I mean, mine look pretty ridiculous. I'll totally admit that any day of the week. I realized that I need a different headset at some point. I'll switch.
You're like in the gamer mode. You're in like gamer.
I am always ready to be gaming.
You know? So
no, it's funny. As soon as you literally, as soon as we went live, your video feed went from like premium down to potato, and it was like,
oh really?
It was instant. But the difference is
now?
that no. Here's the thing.
Potato.
Like the picture that I see right here next to me,
yeah,
is awful. But the picture that I see down there, amazing. Like literally, you are clear as day.
We're gonna solo him right now.
Hold on a second. How's it look on actual stream?
It looks like a potato.
Let's see. Oh my God, it is so bad. You're right. What is going on here? I'm on full internet. What is this? All right, you know what? I'm going to try to re-log in. You guys go on stage. I'll try a new different connection, all right?
Hey, whatever you got to do, man. That was interesting to say the least.
Oh, no. Take me off.
Take me off. Poor guy.
I thought he was going to go, take me home tonight.
Well, since we're still within the first 5 minutes of this actual live, I'd like to make sure that we get some pretty important things out there. Mostly that we'll be talking about Bitcoin versus gold today. Kind of delving into which is the better hedge in 2025. It's actually been something that we have looked at prior, but this time we're going to be delving a little bit more into it, especially since we've seen, quite frankly, gold outperform Bitcoin. Well, for now.
It looks a little better.
Does it? I mean, I'm on.
It does look a little bit better. The only problem is
that doesn't mean anything.
Your action.
Wait, what?
Wow, today we are full of tons of issues.
You hang on a second.
Okay, I hear much better.
I don't care what Toki says. Can y'all hear me okay?
Literally everyone's saying that's much better. How
All right. Sorry about my whatever. I'm on Wi-Fi, but I am on the East Coast in like the mountains, and I guess the Wi-Fi isn't so great here. I'm not down south yet. I spent it. Toki's looking confused. I think you thought I was going straight there. No, I'm in North Jersey actually right now, heading
Oh, okay.
making my way there later. So
Making my
yeah,
way
no.
downtown.
But on my screen, internet and everything looks prime, but apparently not. But who cares about that? You could just listen to me and look at those two beautiful faces and just laugh at my distorted image if it's still distorted while we
I mean,
ramble on about crypto.
it's okay because they can hear and see me perfectly, and then they can hear action and just can't. Right, no, they.
We see action.
Okay, so we're done with
And we
Toki for
could
today.
rug Toki. He gets rugged early. So anyways, so Toki, you were just saying about Bitcoin versus gold, and I wanted just to
Indeed.
bring that up right away. And I know that the title's a little clickbaity or catchy. There is Bitcoin versus gold, which is better hedge in 2025, especially when everyone that tunes in and everyone that we talk to, or at least 99% of them, are, well, I'll say 100, are are crypto holders. Maybe like 90% are technically Bitcoin holders, right? And some are gold holders, but a majority is crypto, Bitcoin, Web3 audience. So I'm sure people immediately want to click in and be like, "What the hell are you talking about? You know, Bitcoin is a better hedge, right?" And yeah, that's what I would lean to, but there's been a little bit of movement with gold. There's been some more talks about it, and
A little.
a little, just a little. It's at what 3,500. I haven't looked at
Yeah,
the chart today.
it's a lot.
But no, but well, it wasn't a move like a 15 20K up to a 90 something K Bitcoin kind of move, but for gold, it definitely made some moves. And now in
I mean, gold's up
2025, what do you think is going to
30%.
happen? Okay, Bitcoin's
That's
up.
crazy.
Yeah, no, no, that is crazy because it's gold, and we're used to Bitcoin being
Yeah.
volatile and going up. So now take that. If we continue this trend or that trend, and let's say gold continues to increase and get stronger, what do you see happening on Bitcoin side? Like, yes, we just pushed up into, and I don't have the chart in front of me. I'm going to say probably 92, 93 we're sitting at right now, unless we dropped a little bit off, I believe, last I checked. But I mean, people are calling for 150,000 Bitcoin by the fall. So where's that put us at? What do you guys think?
Hmm.
Just so you
Like, are
see,
you are you are
this
you
is where
investing into
gold is at.
both? Are you investing into gold at all,
Not
or
anymore.
have you? Not anymore.
Yes.
So if you had money right now, are you putting most of your money or all your money towards Bitcoin and crypto, or would you consider putting some into gold?
Probably fart coin.
Stronger than gold and stronger than Bitcoin?
Yeah, no, no. In all seriousness, like I would not be putting any more money into gold. I already put enough money into gold. That's really the reason why I wouldn't put anything else in there. Again, it did have a pullback already from yesterday. So I mean, we were peaking out here at 3,500. Now we're back down to 3,300.
Hmm.
So like I've made a decent amount already. I feel like with gold, like I don't feel like I need to increase my allocation there anymore than I already have. So that's really my main reason for not going into gold. My recommendation for people that like to listen to financial advice from people on the internet is
But
a
this is not financial
figure.
advice.
Listen to me, Toki. A don't listen to randos in the internet. B, figure things out for yourself. And C, what I would have done if I didn't have any gold would be diversify and actually get some. But yeah, the financial advice that I always give people is figure it out.
On my
Moving
side of
the
things,
sun
this is
here.
not financial advice. Diversification is always cool, but it doesn't always mean that you're going to make money off of it.
So there's a fine line, and this is my non crypto take on this is there's always opportunity for you to lose your shirt. If you're diverse in what you're putting your money in, you lose less shirts. It's the truth, dude. Like
Sometimes you even get a sweatshirt.
yeah. But like, don't get me wrong, and it's like the exponential the exponential potential, like I did that, of
Hmm.
crypto really helps when you're diversifying, because it's those moonshots, right? When you land one, you only need to land one. So if you have a diverse portfolio, you're much more likely to hit something than not. And ultimately, it's just a safer way to go about it.
Are
That
you
was
gonna get a
all last
moonshot with
year's
gold
logic.
though?
That was all
What's
last
that?
year's logic with meme coins. It was
Yeah,
like,
but
oh,
I'm
I just need
asking.
one of them to hit.
But I'm asking, are you gonna get a moonshot with gold?
No,
No.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
So
get a moonshot with Bitcoin?
no.
You
We're not.
say
We're
no.
not. We're not going to see Bitcoin do a.
Toki's got.
Okay, I love the fact that you guys are idiots.
I didn't even answer. That's the best part.
So are you saying that you can see Bitcoin doing 1,000x right now? Is that what you're telling me, Toki?
I don't know if it's gonna do a
What is the
thousand X.
definition of
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going, Scott.
what's the
Like,
definition ChatGPT or Grok give you for what a moonshot is considered in crypto? What kind of multiplier range? But I get what you're saying here because, look at if you're, let's just round up, we're at 100K Bitcoin, right? Even if a 10X happened this year, you're at 1 million. So, I mean,
right.
that's huge, right? And what market cap is Bitcoin currently at? And for it to 10X at is crazy. But to moonshot something that you get in at, a 10 million market cap to go up to 100 million, or to get that same gains, or even to get 100 or 50X out of it. Yeah, the multiplier range is a lot more. And you know that that's where you know you try to differentiate between moonshot or not. I mean, moonshot's going to be the bigger, in my opinion, 50, 100,000x, something crazy. So action where you're like really concentrating there. What number did you come up with in your calculations? I see you doing calculus. It's written all over your face.
So
Pi
you should
squared divided by something, whatever. What do we get?
see calculate. That doesn't work with me. Like, I'm a simple guy. I'm over here just trying to make
Okay.
sure that my sound is okay. Definitely not doing any kind of math.
All right. So the definition of moonshot equals question mark.
I'm trying to pull up the Grok definition.
So how many x is considered
How
a moonshot?
many?
So this is why I think meme coins are life-changing investment. So
Yeah,
investment is
you can definitely life changing. Could
uh,
go either way.
no. Well, let's take it from the standpoint of throwing in $100 and getting a moonshot and it turning into 100,000 or 1 million or something like that. You get wrecked for 100 unless it's your last 100. You know, not so bad. Likelihood of that happening, very very unlikely. Investment. Hmm, So you
Are
could
you ready
loosely
for
use
this?
that word as investment, more as gamble, casino. That's
Are you ready
where I
for
see it.
the
Oh,
Grok
look at
answer?
this. Yeah, let's see.
GPT got it.
Oh,
GPT said 2 to 5 is nice gain. I want to compare it with Grok if you can do that, Toki.
yeah, we can definitely do that.
5 to 10 is impressive. Getting into the moonshot territory. 10x plus moonshot status. This is where people start using
Ooh,
rocket emojis. Um, oh, wasn't there a token with a
we're
little
gonna start
rocket?
using rocket emojis. 100x
Yeah,
went to
100x went
moon.
to the moon and beyond, aka Lambo time. 1,000x. Why are you still here? You should be on a yacht.
All right, so it's saying in
Uh,
short, 10x is the minimum to be called a moonshot.
Correcto.
Okay, and then we will
Interesting.
go
I'm wondering
here.
how DGen Grok is gonna get.
I don't know.
Um,
I love that. I love that. There's always like a Lambo reference in those. It's so baked into the community, like when Lambo.
That's mine.
We'll eventually get it together.
all right.
Next week, I'll set everything up. Like we'll have a studio set up in Dubai, unless we're on the
So
go.
We are.
this one is saying the
Yep.
moonshot typically refers to an investment expected to yield massive returns, uh, between 50x to 100x gains in value.
Hmm.
So the 10x
So a
over
little
at
more degen.
this is a bit more of a degen answer in comparison to the 10x on the other side of things.
I would agree with this more actually.
10x is a moonshot, but I'd never call 10x a moonshot in crypto. Chat GPT fail.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
that's really hard to argue with because like
Grok
for
for the win
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. This one just feels more realistic for what we're thinking about when we hear moonshot. Because you're putting in, let's say, $1,000, and if you're walking away with 50 to 100K, yeah, you totally just rode that to the moon real quick. Like that's crazy. That is not everyday money that's going to happen. Those are genuine moonshots. So I would happily go with this definition
I feel like I
over
get one of
the
those
No,
once a
ChatGPT
year.
one.
this is definitely the better definition. But I feel that the last year has gotten so many people so degen that they need even greater to be considered like a true moonshot. They need like, those tweets you see that I put $16 in or I put $22 in and it's worth, 1 point
But
whatever.
according to ChatGPT, and again, this is just all I'm
To
saying.
qualify.
To qualify at a 10x, Bitcoin
All
only needs
right.
to get to $1 million for me to be
Piece of cake, guys.
right.
Piece of cake.
So like, my moonshots here, boys.
So, Action, you said piece of cake with Bitcoin at 1 million. So, since we were talking Bitcoin and gold, I want to throw like a curveball out here because you have Michael Saylor owns 2.5% of the supply, right? You have the U.S. government close to what 200,000 Bitcoin, China
Mhm.
190,000. I'm not sure exactly what point percentage some of those are, but you have a large amount of percentages of Bitcoin, being held. You have MicroStrategy doing this strategy where they're God, I use strategy twice, but where they're taking out loans essentially to get more Bitcoin and playing this game that we consider that we said was like it's like how could you even be doing that? But I mean, I guess that's financial. There's financial. It's financially it's legally illegal.
Mhm.
Um, so 10 years from now, or do you think in 10 years we'll be at 1 million? Do you think in 5 years we'll be at 1 million? Do you think we are? You said easy that we get there, but with people taking such large supply off, the thought changing is. Do you feel that price might not keep
Uh,
going to a
quite the
million or
opposite.
past?
Quite
I
the
mean, or do you
opposite.
think we're gonna go just keep going and going and going?
I think so. I mean, and like people taking more of the supply is the
Yeah,
most
no,
bullish
that's
thing
good.
there is.
Yeah, but if
So what
somebody,
do you mean?
if somebody ends up with like, we're at Nashville, right? What was it Nashville that for Bitcoin conference? No, that RFK at some time around that had said that he wanted to make sure that we ended up with I forget what the amount was, but it ended up being like 18% of the Bitcoin supply was like his target. Like essentially trying to control, almost get the control or hold the most Bitcoin, right? So if we ended up doing something like that, the government holding 18%, and then you got MicroStrategy at, let's say by the time they got that, MicroStrategies is up to like 5%, and you end up with United States holding, and its companies 30-40% of Bitcoin, right? What do you think happens from there? Do you
I
think
mean,
because of global pressures, do you think something else emerges in this time frame to compete against Bitcoin to become a different storage a store of value other than Bitcoin?
What's the time frame that we're talking
yeah,
about
that's what I'm
here?
I
curious
don't
about
know.
because
Let's just say a decade or so. A
Then no,
decade, a
Bitcoin's
10 to 20
fine.
years, 10 to 20 years.
Bitcoin's fine. We're still
yeah,
mining Bitcoin. Any
Okay.
until Bitcoin is even remotely close to being fully like mined, I'm not even. I feel like this is almost like a non-argument still because there's nothing else out there even remotely
Well,
close in comparison. It's
yep.
just I don't see anything because everyone knows what
Okay.
this technology is now. Almost everyone is going to be very suspicious of anything that comes up
I would
that's
like to
even remotely
apologize
close.
in advance
Eh,
because I'm going to show you guys a clip from Facebook.
Okay. No, we'll take it. We'll take it. Just
The
don't
reason
say
the
that
reason I'm
word
saying this is
again
because
on
yeah,
this on
on
the
the stream,
stream.
yeah.
Wait,
Why
what
you
I
always
do?
got to
What I
say?
do last
Why you
time?
always got? Why you always got to say that on my my streams here? You always use the words. That's it. When we do yours next week, it's on. I'm gonna start dropping all the words you can't do.
Say.
But no, no. The reason I say this is because the reason I'm saying this is because like we talked about private companies saying like why would they jump on using XRP or other things when they might just use their own or create their own blockchain or their own system or whatever in place to use and not jump on it, and they don't give a shit if it's centralized or decentralized, right? They probably prefer that it would be centralized. What happens when you get somebody or countries that control majority of token supply, or Bitcoin supply? Do you have countries that then are using all their wealth or their capability or whatever and launching their own digital asset to try to compete? You know what I mean? Like just throwing, some real like some what's it called? Some like far-fetched possible conspiracies or ideas.
Not at
But
all. Not
we
conspiracy
but
at
in
all.
but in 10 or 15 years ago, like right before Bitcoin came out, no one would have thought any of this within a decade.
Oh yeah. I mean, if
So
you want
you
conspiracy
see how
theories,
things could change.
we
You can
we
see
can,
how
we can
quick
talk
things could
about
change. So
we can talk about the first Bitcoin transfer, what the IP was, where it came from, and how the other IP that it went to was just a couple of miles down the street, and who it went to. There's a lot we can go as far as conspiracy theories are concerned. Like,
Mhm.
don't get me started. But this is the clip that I was talking about, and this
oh
is a twofer. The twofer. So
oh
first, it's RFK talking about Bitcoin, and second, he is where Scott.
at Karate Combat.
Woo!
The junior presidential candidate for 2024. Thank you for joining us this evening, sir.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this. That was an amazing fight. I was astonished about how tough they are.
Oh, yeah. These fighters will lay everything on the line to get the win here tonight. You're here in Nashville. You're speaking at Bitcoin 2024. How has your experience been so far?
I'm a huge supporter of Bitcoin. I was here a year ago at the other Bitcoin conference. I went home with most of my wealth into Bitcoin, so I'm fully committed.
Most of his wealth into Bitcoin. Like, that's the piece that I think kind of shocked so many people. So much so that Cointelegraph posted on Facebook.
You know what I will say though, cool thing about RFK that I just saw a lot of people were tweeting. Not about Bitcoin, but just generally that was pretty cool about him. And I guess what was going on that's positive that I think that almost everyone should be in agreement on was the removal of what is it like the red dyes and different things that they shouldn't be in candies and drinks or whatever else. I think
That
that's
band
like
true.
You know, this is being
yeah, and
streamed to YouTube. You're about to get your channel canceled, bro.
no, I'm just saying that was in the news, and I thought that was actually something very positive that's going on when a lot of people talk about negative things or controversial things. And him putting most of his wealth into Bitcoin, that speaks volumes. There's a lot of big, you know, politicians and celebrities, famous people, influencers that put their money into Bitcoin or other investments. It doesn't necessarily mean at the end of the day it's right. Now, I'm not saying that I'm against Bitcoin. Obviously, I hold Bitcoin. I've held since over a decade now. But look what's happened in 10, 15 years. In our whole space. Our whole space was created in the last 15 years, right? All of this, we would not be here talking about any of this if this was so. In the next 15 years, what could happen? And when you have people holding different supply levels, it's all about influence and control. And as we get more connected globally, you see exactly what's happening when we had talks about tariffs and trade wars, and everything is connected. So if people start seeing the United States shift and start holding most of the digital assets, the rest that you have other countries are going to do it. We're going to have like digital asset wars or something going on, like things could get, we don't know. That's what's crazy about this. I mean, I do see price obviously going up. I'd like to see 1 million, Bitcoin uh, as soon as possible. That would be amazing. I don't know a time frame for it to get there. I would love to see it happen in a decade. 2 cycles, I guess, if we're going to continue traditional cycles, that would be another
If
couple cycles,
wait,
right?
so hold on. You just Didn't you both just talk to me about how much you want things to be decoupled away from the actual system, and now you're?
I didn't
No,
say
that was
that.
just
I
me.
said,
That was just me.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry. No, you're right.
it's
Hold
it's
on.
very
No, no,
vague.
no, no, no,
Don't
no.
be
Hold on.
putting
Just
don't be putting words into Potato's mouth.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So as we were saying, um,
Is it still
Toki's trying to be
bad?
funny. Oh, it's terrible.
Is it
dude,
really? Is
it's
it
pretty
really
bad.
bad? It's so
I'm
horrible.
about to post it to I don't know, I don't want to say the platform name because I don't want to get in trouble with you, but
I'm just gonna leave stream.
it might be for the best.
Yeah, right. Uh-oh.
It's kind of harsh.
I lost
Guys,
my.
this is I agree.
I don't even know where my
Yo,
screen is anymore.
Puma, you got to help me out here.
Oh my
Is
God, look
Kev
how
gonna be
bad
out
this
in
is.
Dubai? Like, can you sort that out? Because we definitely want to see the dude. Like, want to make sure we can connect with him. Plus, he's gonna sponsor Karate Combat, so we got to get him on the desk,
Ooh,
as well.
very cool. Very cool.
No idea why the Wi-Fi is trash.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
having
you're
issues here.
literally. Aren't you in the garbage state?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I
I mean,
am.
that's what they call it. I think that the license plate says Garden State, but that was a
Man,
typo.
even even if I switch to try to use a hotspot, I have like 1 bar and like 5G service. 5G service. It'll probably be worse than this.
5G would be better than that. Are you kidding me? It looks
You
like you're
think
on
so?
dial-up. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but this. All right. Let's see. You want to watch this crash right now?
Do it. Yeah, I do want to see what
Dude, your
happens.
trees look like they were built in Minecraft. Like, please, for the love of God, help us out here.
I'm streaming from Minecraft.
Oh, he just locked up. All right.
He sure did.
Hey guys. So I'm out here in Jersey right now wearing my prop base hat. I'm trying to look smart now that I'm not with contacts on, so I put glasses on, and yeah, hopefully this gets me some clout. People think I'm intelligent. But let's talk about what's actually happening here, because I know that, Toki, you have been talking about this for a while. You're always talking about gold and then China. Like, how do you really feel about this? I'm not actually going to do any streaming. I'm just going to ask you guys questions and pretend that this is my channel right now. So Toki, what do you think?
This is rough. Oh wait, what's happening? What's happening?
It's just loading now.
Ah, shuckers. Now, I do actually have a quick question for you.
Is it about your camera angle? Yeah, it's terrible. You should never center your face in the camera. It should be 1/3 down. That's where your eyes should be. So you look a little bit. You look.
Oh, that's because
short.
when I sit down, my chair went lower, and I just didn't raise it back up. See, I could do
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, I even have a cushion on my chair now. But regardless, breaking, well, not that breaking, but recent news that came out in regards to the RWA scene, and something that I know that I've actually been rather interested in because I don't know about it nearly as much as you do. But an almost unpotato Scott.
You look better.
Almost unpotato. Do I really?
You went from 1040, 1044 to like 270.
Oh, there it goes.
Is it bad
You just
again?
gotta hold still. So here's what happens. Nerdy time with action. Whenever you have images that are still, the background requires less processing, and when it gets compressed, so like my background right now, the image is actually just still, so it doesn't require as much bandwidth. As soon as I move around and I'm doing different things on top of the background, it requires more bandwidth because now the file size is going to be bigger because there's more things to be processed. Now it's just saying, hey, last frame still the same, all of these areas of the screen, there are different things happening, so it requires more bandwidth. So Scott, stop moving around. Go ahead, Toki.
He said, "Screw the pity background. I'ma get siding." But
Yeah, Is that better?
It helps, but it's not better yet. Like, hold still for a minute and we'll see where we get. Not you. Like, hold still as far as the computer. See how it clears up?
No, I was kind of okay with him holding still. That was pretty good. No, so we're gonna go into a quick RWA thing real fast.
Appreciate it, because I feel like I've wasted 30 minutes of my life.
Hey, I'm proud of you, bud. Proud of you.
Almost as bad as the 10 seconds that Melina wasted.
Man, I'm gonna have to get one of those mobile Starlinks with all this traveling and stuff that's
So,
going on.
Aether launches batch 6 of its $100 million ecosystem fund with a focus on RWAs. What was that face?
Let me grab something. Hang on.
Okay, well.
Yeah, all right. I'm not sure what just happened there. Actually, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm out of here.
So for this new batch that Aether's talking about, it says that their decentralized cloud computing platform, Aether, has actually kicked off their new batch 6, expanding beyond their new AI agent support and quote unquote promising real world asset startups. So again, another expansion in the RWA scene. And
Does
just
that
seems
mean that this is going to make more money? Look at you guys.
Ooh.
Look. Oh, you can see my son working. You see so much.
Oh, wow.
I can see your seed phrase in that reflection. You shouldn't leave it on your desktop in a notepad open. Or whatever.
Agreed.
It does say never going to give you up.
Man, you know, but on a serious note, the RWA space is going to blow up. I mean, we're starting to see or hear, you know, like BlackRock was talking about their own token and for their RWA stuff. But the only thing that really worries me about it is everyone going to just tokenize, like, you know, 5 years from now, is everyone going to be tokenizing everything? And you're like, why do we need everything tokenized? Is there a
You want
situation
you
where
want
we
hot
go too
takes?
far? Yeah. I want your hot take on that. I'm playing like the downer person like today. Like,
We
no.
noticed.
yeah, it's fine.
Wait. Today, I literally just imitated you doing exactly that. What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, you missed it.
All right, so here's the hot take on this whole thing. Oh, and by the way, we do have a special guest coming in at the top of the hour. I don't want to forget to tell you all about that, because one of the reasons why we're talking about RWAs is because we are going to have literally the person that deals with RWAs when it comes to commodities. Let me share this instead, and I'm going to put it up. It'll bring you up on screen as well, Scott, right there. So this is Miriam. She's awesome. She's going to be at the AVAX Summit. I'll explain how she's tied into RWAs, but she deals a lot in commodities. But Scott, what was your question again?
Do you think that we get to a point where we say, hey, like, should everything be tokenized? Like, does this particularly need to be tokenized? Like, are people just going to take it too far?
I literally did an interview with Arthur from Tezos, and I don't care who you are. I'm going to be honest and truthful regardless of who I'm sitting down with, and that's what I said. I said people are tokenizing things that make absolutely no sense, that should never be tokenized and wasting everybody's time. If there's no purpose behind it, if you're not actually increasing the availability, right? Like a lot of tokenization comes down to, can more people now trade this one asset? If you're not doing that, if you're not increasing how fast money is going back and forth, it is pointless. You should not tokenize things. Will people still do it? Absolutely. Well, we need to realize that tokenization has been around for a while. Where is it? Oh, the money fell out. I had a stack of hundreds, but they're behind my desk now. Money, those are literally tokens. Like the cash that you hold. Don't give me that look, Scott, and I'll tell you why. This is basically what people are doing. They're essentially saying, all right, now this random little piece of data signifies wealth, signifies value that's being held in this asset. Like, that's what this is all about. And guess what? We've been doing this for decades. The stock market is nothing more than a tokenization platform for companies. That's what it is.
So
yes,
I'm gonna say something real quick.
and in theory, wait, no, you're right. And in theory, anybody could open up a corporation in this country, an LLC or whatever, and issue shares and give the shares to people, and
and go to jail thanks to the SEC. Wait, no, they're better now. Never mind.
But I don't know. I mean, on the technicality, I'll agree, but on just a broader
Okay, I'll
sense
ask
of
you this
things, I
question.
don't.
What's your favorite trading pair? Scott, what's your favorite trading pair ever in history?
That's a good question. In history?
Yeah, do you want to know what one of the best ones that the America has ever done?
All right.
Let's see. We did seashells and beads for beaver skins and land.
All right.
Awesome tokens that we used in history.
Yeah, physical tokens we used. Yep.
Yeah, so
Real
the dollar
tokens.
bill is another fantastic
Yeah.
token that the US has switched to.
With unlimited supply.
Because we make them.
Yeah, that's the bad part there, that we just keep making them.
Yeah, we made a nice fungible token.
That's exactly what it is. And like I say these things not to be facetious. Okay, let me rephrase that. I say these things not only to be facetious.
Okay.
But because people really need to understand how this stuff works, man. Like, there's a ton of money to be made out there, and people are leaving it on the table because they're chasing these wild dreams, these, wild goose chases, essentially, is what they turn out to be, because they don't understand the why behind it. And the why behind these things is so much more important than what the tokenization actually is. Like, if you look at, like, the reason why I'm excited to talk to Miriam in a little bit is because she is into the commodities market. And the tokenization of commodities market is going to be freaking huge. And yeah, for some people, like, yeah, I guess I can buy now. Uranium is a perfect example, right? I work with Trilly Tech.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like that helps a lot. Like, it's actually making uranium accessible for a lot of people.
It opens up a whole nother item for people to trade and invest in that it wasn't accessible to 99.9% of people or more.
Bingo. And that's just step one. And that's the thing that I want people to understand. Like, this is just step one. There's no leverage yet when it comes to the initial tokenization of things. When leveraged, tokenization markets come into play, that's when things go haywire. Why do you think the price of crypto is so wild? Because you have a bunch of gamblers out there going 50, 100, 500x on these things. That's why the price moves so rapidly, is because people get liquidated left and right.
You said 500x. NextC, I saw posted something that they're letting people do 500x now.
I might have gotten that email.
That's insane. That's insane.
It is, but
Talk
like,
about
hey, some
throw a
people
dollar
make
in.
life-changing money with that 500x. You know what I mean?
And some people just feed the machine. Some people just feed them their money.
No.
Here, just take it.
Most
Gone.
people feed the machine. That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
I mean-
Most people are feeding the machine.
Yeah, so
You're
the
literally
one
talking
person could
about,
win.
It's like you're literally sitting there, putting quarters in the machine and pulling the lever. That's what this is. That's what
It's
happens.
gambling. It's straight gambling. Yeah. No, I agree. That, meme coins, I mean, you name it. It's everyone's putting that money in, and then one random person might walk away with a bunch of money.
Yep.
Might.
Hopefully that random person is me.
There you go. I hope it's you too.
Usually not, but one can dream.
Look at this.
But
I tried.
Am I making sense? Tried the 300.
I tried the 300. You know what's crazy is I want to log in and put a 500x in just to see exactly what the liquidation would be. Like, does it have to go down 3 cents? On like
shows you
on
the liquidation before you put it in, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I have to put it in to see with what I'm trading or whatever. I'm curious what it would be before actually doing it, just out of novelty, because that is huge. 500x, like, to get stomped out, it's like you just like
blink.
Done.
I think this may be my new favorite comment.
You're literally. Oh shit. Blue. That's hilarious.
If you are partaking while trying to do trades like that, don't.
Actually, I think most people that are trying to do trades like that have to be partaken.
You're probably right on that one.
They're definitely on something to pull the trigger on something like that. Boop. Oh man, yeah. So tune in for market insights. Stick around for the comedy. I think that's the tagline.
We got it all
Scott?
here.
Am I right, Scott?
Yeah, I think so.
So Scott, Bitcoin has not dumped yet. Like we're still sitting at 93.7. Does that mean that we're looking at a potential breakout here because we didn't crash back down to the 90s or 89?
Man, if we could cross 95, I think we'll do well.
So 95
At
is
least
the,
into
is the
May.
spot?
At least into May. I mean,
It's
roughly.
gonna be May.
What did we top out at in the last like day or two? 95, 94,
the
something.
highest we did? Yeah, something like
Yeah, I haven't really been looking
94.
at the charts at all, just because I usually have them on monitors open in the studio. But
94.4 looks like.
oh, really?
Yeah. Oh wait, we
So
crashed to 91 this morning. Let me see. Yeah, we did. We did.
we're back. Oh, okay, we're 93.5.
We're back,
We were
guys.
down. We're we're at 92. We're back. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone and the charts on there. We're back.
I
It's
mean,
so
if you
funny
want me
because
to
I
put
looked
it
at
up,
the
I can
chart
do
and
it.
like it doesn't even register.
So this is the
Yeah,
last day.
good.
So 93.5. We were at 94.1 right there. Over the last 7
But there was
days, does
some
look really good.
bullish stuff out there being, like as far as the economy. I think they were saying that, well, actually never mind. I'm going to take that back a bit because I saw a handful of tweets about that we might not do as high of tariffs and things might be looking better. Like
Oh,
like
yeah?
not 100 whatever. But then I just remembered that China said, wait a minute, the United States said that we were like in talks and things like that, and we haven't had one conversation yet. So I'm like, wait a minute. There was a bunch of bullish stuff that it looked like stuff from our politicians and are coming out to be like, okay, cool. This might not actually go that route. And then everyone else is like, no one's talked to us yet. So yeah, I
Are
don't
you
know.
saying
Maybe
that
we
we're
just stay here.
lying?
I don't think that we ever lie. Politicians never lie.
There you
It
go.
is always the truth, right? From all of them. I guess if we're saying that we're talking and we're making deals and people are coming to the table and everyone else is saying that the phone didn't ring, maybe that means like everyone wants to push Bitcoin, but then the rest of the world is like, wait a minute, there's nothing going on here. So does that we just stay the course right here for a bit until finally there's concrete proof one way or the other?
I'm just
I
impressed
want
that
to
you
see
were
the
the one who
caller
said
ID.
China before Toki did.
Dude,
Oh,
I
we love
told you.
this.
I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I
We
told you. I
talked about
told you. I
this
told
yesterday,
you.
Scott. We definitely talked about this yesterday.
Oh, what you guys have? You have like a side bet who's going to say China first? You can't do
Oh,
that
no,
without me
it's
in
always
it.
you.
Because if you,
No, it's always you because we knew it was going to be you.
now it's me. Now it's me. But if you say that to him, I bet you he says it before you. It's very easy for him to win.
2 days
He
ago,
could
it
just,
was also you.
oh my God, it happened twice in like the last 2 or 3 weeks that this is that these things have been going on with this country. 2 whole times action. But I can easily
I'm just
get
glad that
baited
you
into
brought it
it.
up before me. Okay.
I
I'm just
didn't
glad
bait
you
you
did
Oh
into
it.
no,
anything.
no. I want to be part of the side bet because then it makes it that me and you are having a standoff onto who is going to crack and say it first. But I
I
didn't know
think
we
now
were in
that
this.
I think now we're both in. So I didn't even actually realize that I hadn't said China yet until he
So
brought up the
now we're
fact that you did it first, and I was like,
so now
"You're
we're
right.
now
I
we're going
haven't
to be
said
in
China."
the China.
If we're
We're in
gonna
the
go down
China
this route,
standoff.
guys, there are better things that we can do. Toki, you got to give us $1 in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, every time you say honestly, genuinely. You got any more? Get any more? No.
What? Oh,
Come on,
so
come
what
on.
word? What word is?
Wait, which
What
words were
word
you
is
guys
yours?
using while I was gone? Because I listened back through, and actually, you're pretty guilty.
Wait a minute.
Oh
Wait a minute.
yeah, I'm so
Are we
glad.
doing this like put crypto in like a wallet? If we say like words we repeat too much, and then
Oh,
what? At the end of the month, we give it away to a loyal viewer that
That's
had
a
to
great idea.
listen to us. That had to
That's a
listen to us
great idea.
repeat stuff as we get better at describing our charts and our stuff and fine tuning our streams and making it better quality for everyone. But if we
Yeah,
repeat the same dumbass shit over and over and over again, we have to put money in there. It's all right. It's on my
yeah.
YouTube. And we're so far in now, we could curse, I think. I just don't think
The
you could drop F bombs, right?
F bombs are pretty bad, especially if you do it inside of the first 5 minutes.
Could you do F-bombs on Twitter? Does X care about
X
cursing?
doesn't. X doesn't. Well, I don't want to use your catchphrase, Scott.
See, that's why the reason I was asking is because I was going to put that as a tweet. I was going to be like, everyone keeps telling me my catchphrase is, and I don't want to put that if I'm not allowed to. Like, I would spell shit with an exclamation point on occasion because people are like, yo, you're going to screw up your algorithm if you curse. I mean, that's all I do is curse. Like, I have a trucker mouth. I'm sorry. And they say if you curse a lot, it's linked to high IQ. So I'll take that one article and hold it tight till I die.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder.
So
who
what words
paid
are we
that guy
using
to
here?
write that?
I don't know. It's probably Chat GPT. I probably fed it the info. All right, we're gonna have to pick up some words, or we're gonna have to ask people from the crowd because or from the audience there, they'll know more so. Action already, I think, pinpointed Tokies, but I don't know if
Guys,
that's
it is
really.
$5 a week for me then.
Yeah, I was like, if that's what's happening.
I feel bad because I don't want to rug
Wait a minute.
Miriam, but I think I might
Does,
have to.
does the person, if you have to pay $5 for rugging, does the $5 go
No,
to the
it's five.
pool, or does
five.
it?
It goes to the pool, but I'm saying it's $5 because I'm doing it 5 times a week.
No, I thought you were gonna do it $5 each rug, and then you have to pay it to the person you rug. And then I was gonna say you can't rug yourself, just so you know. So you can't just like, call it a wash and still get to rug the stream.
Yeah,
So you're paying
good point.
$5 a week. So you're sponsoring this. Action is now the proud sponsor of GM Live at $1 a day. Let's go. Tune in the last Friday of every month for that giveaway. You could win enough money to go, I don't know, buy a Snickers, maybe a Red Bull.
I mean, at the end of the month, you
or
should
wait,
have at least $20.
hey, that 20
unless
could be.
Bitcoin went down.
Wait a minute, that 20 could be 30 if we have it goes up in May. That 20 could be 30 then, or 25. Wait, hold on. We need to ask, do we put it in
Or
Bitcoin or do
5.
we put it in something else?
I mean, Bitcoin is a little more difficult to transact than most, but I got a Bitcoin wallet laying around that I don't usually touch, so I'm game.
It would be funny.
Whatever you think.
All right, guys.
We
Let's
got
do ETH.
what is
Let's
this
do
there?
ETH, and you can send it to the wallet. We can send it to the wallet. Scott, what do you think of the wallet that I have? It's called dirtydegens.eth.
So I can't believe you. You know what the crazy thing is? How you kept my old show's wallets through the whole time I was there, and how at the very end of the day now you have them and I'm not there, and you're like, well, I got these. They're mine now. You're like, what they called this back in the IP world back in the day in the IP world, it's almost being like a patent troll, where you just sit on the IP. You never heard that term? Action? Patent trolls with intellectual property law?
Troll. No, that's not. I'm not a patent troll.
I said it's very similar to it. It's that you have the domain, you're sitting on it.
Troll. It's very different. You realize I've made a lot of money with this, right? Like
you're holding hostage. Yeah, that's why you were waiting for hopefully me to blow up so that you could sell it back to me, or sell it to me for high profit.
If Ben ever launches his BenFi platform, go find out who's got BenFi.eth, guys.
Should change that to Bailfi. Sorry. Anyways,
that was pretty good. That was really good. Bailfi.
Well, you could help him out right now. I wonder what's happening.
No, we should go on Pump.fun. Start up a nice stream and just do a Bailfi. What is
speaking about Pump.fun? Man, I have a lot of their tokens been making it to bonding lately? I don't know. The Memecoin things have just been sounding like some of these are just. Oh no! It sounds like some of the casinos made a bunch of money and everyone's like, "All right, we're gonna go on vacation for a bit," and like there's a bunch of people still sitting around trying to gamble and make money. And they're like, "What do we do?" And like nothing's really happening. I don't know. I feel like things are just a little bit cooked. I don't know. Maybe it's just exhausted. Things are exhausted. Or do you know of any good new memes that have been ripping?
Down?
No. If Pump Fun's down, it has to be because they just decided to have everyone start streaming again. That will be no, it can't be down. I mean, I don't even want to open it on my cell phone.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Rather
I
you.
got blocked. They blocked me.
What?
No, I just can't open it. It's not
That
coming
was
up.
good. Try from your phone. Try from a cell phone, like a browser, not on your Wi-Fi. Try, you grab a different IP.
I mean, I have different IPs on my Wi-Fi. I can just switch it.
Do you know what? They probably
Don't
thought,
switch it.
he's coming in here, he's watching all these videos, he's rugging all these communities, he's rugging all these serial ruggers.
I have rugged some of them. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that's another one. I'm not gonna lie. That's something you say too. Dang it.
Who?
Another dollar.
Loki.
So at least my catchphrase, I don't really say on stream because I know we shouldn't be dropping F-bombs. So it can't be that for me because I'll never pay because I really won't say it.
What do I say a lot? I guess that's what I'm curious about here.
It's when you go, it's next time you go into where you turn on your interview / making a statement mode. When you flip that switch and you go like, hey guys, and you do the whole like get going and motivated to give us like 3 paragraphs of wisdom. You usually start those with some catchphrases, I think. You have
Okay.
like a pattern.
recently,
So I'm gonna pull up.
recently, the ones that you have used that were very specifically mine are the I'm not gonna lie. I've heard you use that one quite often.
Thank you.
And then you started off on the honestly one. You've gotten that one pretty good. I heard you do an interview with someone where you used it genuinely when you moved into the next question.
I
And
will
then
say, sometimes I do laugh internally and then I say it thinking of you, like on purpose, just for funsies.
I
That
could
does happen.
totally believe that as well because some of them look so intentional. You're like, honestly, and I'm like, that's so exaggerated.
Dude, the crap that I sneak into interviews is wild. Like, I have a lot of fun watching them, like watching them back sometimes, going, "Oh, I remember why I did that." It's pretty hilarious.
The crazy thing is when you're in the flow of like a really good interview and you're asking people things and talking with them, and then you slide stuff in, like 99% of the time they don't even realize it. They answer it like how Ben did, like when you're with the triact, and he's like, yeah. It's like, like doesn't realize they're answering it exactly what you're lining it up to be. And they're like, they either move on because they realize that like a second late, like in the next sentence, and just keep going, or they're like, it's just so it's good. You have a way of incorporating it. I think if me
You
or
got
other people tried to
away.
do it, they would they'd stop and like be like, what the hell? Like call us out or say something. Like what kind of shit are you talking? Like, I don't want to do this interview with you anymore. But like, yo, I'm just trying to joke. But you can get away with it. I'd get shut down. They'd be like, get the hell out of here. I want to like,
Oh my
oh
gosh.
man, it would have been awesome if you were there when I did the interview with Arthur Hayes and CZ walked in, because I
Oh,
would have
that
loved
would
to see what kind of witty stuff he came
like
up
the
then.
stuff that would
Action
come
would
out
have
of
been
my
like, yo,
mouth.
what up? Action
No,
would have
I
been
would've
like,
been
yo,
like,
give me 4. And like high forward him.
No, actually, like,
Or
if
there'd been a
that was
water
me
there and he'd be like, this is the
CZ
only
walked,
drink,
if CZ walked in the room when that was happening, I would have literally turned and was like, what the hell are you doing, dude? We're doing an interview here. I may have done that to some other important people in the past. They're like, oh, like, I'm just joking. It's fine.
Look at that. Yo, he has to put money in the wallet. He used what, not gonna lie? Honestly. Well, we appreciate the support. Sorry you gotta go back to work, but yeah, we all gotta grind and make that money to
I think the
I
funniest
guess
thing
invest to hopefully get away from that.
so far this stream, the funniest thing is that I quoted Shania Twain and nobody picked it up.
That's awesome that nobody picked it up.
You guys don't like the movie Notting Hill? What a shame.
You don't impress me much.
I mean, that's the popular one. I like Scott just basically said, you got a way of like, and I did the whole, you got away with me. Somehow you got me to believe. Yeah. You guys don't know the music? Really?
No, we're just not entertaining you
Bro,
as a
in everything
as a
that
vocalist right now.
that I could be. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I think it's even better when Scott is deliberately like, I'm not giving into this one.
Yeah, or where he says something and I just clean blow by it, and then action tries to bring it back up. I'm
Clean
like, nope.
blow.
I went right. I just kept going. I did not even listening. I'm just on to the next thing. You keep bringing it back up. I'm continuing to move on to the next subject about Bitcoin, gold, hedge, meme coins, whatever the hell else, anything but what you're talking about at that moment. And that's what we do. And you can't
Love
rug
it.
me yet because we still got 5 minutes left. What?
No, we're
There's
sticking
literally a
around.
guest.
There's a guest.
Please
That's
don't
even
end the
better.
stream. Yeah,
Oh.
there's no rugging. There's
That's it,
absolutely
everyone.
no
I'm
rugging
rugging.
today, guys.
I'm rugging everyone. I'm taking the whole ship down with me.
I will go down with this ship.
Toki, I'm so glad that you're on this flight. You're on the same flight. Oh no, that's it. You started saying, "Get the hell off my flight." Do not move your seat next to me. That's it. You're part of Action's team. You guys have fun. I'm out of here.
You're saying that you don't want to be my sing-along flight? I get the whole
No,
plane to sing
you
with
guys.
us?
You guys could do a duet and sing back and forth the whole time. I'll be the cameraman if anything, but you guys could do all the singing. That's fine.
We do need a cameraman. I agree.
Yeah.
And not Mark. Mark, you suck. What?
Was Mark filming himself while you were doing the interview?
Okay, here's my problem. You know what really grinds my gears? When people will lie to each other to make them feel better. Mark, you're a terrible cameraman. Do something else. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, focus on what you're good at.
Do you know what blocks my chain? When Action just really digs into someone, they're not even here to defend themselves, but he's totally right. Mark, don't do that again.
Action's going to turn it into a short and then post it.
Oh, I'm glad
then
we're
send
recording.
it-
I'm glad we're
and then
recording
send the
separate
link.
screens right now, so we can do like this full res. Even Scott's gonna look good on the recording.
You're gonna take that as a short, post it, tag him in it, and copy him, and post it over to him, blast the list, retweet it.
Yeah, and then Toki's gonna go around. It's like, hey guys, I just posted an action, and they're gonna go, wait, an action? It's like, yeah, a short.
So we have 2 minutes before I guess the guest is coming on. Should we talk
Supposedly.
about anything crypto or Web3 blockchain related for 2 minutes out of this hour?
I want to make sure that I want to know what y'all want to know about. Like, is there anything before Miriam shows up? Is there anything that I should try to sneak into asking her questions that she might not expect? And this can be as crazy as y'all want to make it. This is the engagement time.
I want to
Put it
know
in
her
the chat.
favorite trading pair in history.
Okay.
In history.
I still don't know what Scott's is.
Yeah, what is
No, you
yours,
made a
Scott?
very valuable point with the shells and stuff. I did, but I have to think about it a little bit more. Check back with me, because when you say history, I'd actually have to like do a little bit of research, because off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of all the ones, and there's got to be some really interesting ones, especially global history too.
There's
So
some pretty cool ones, I won't lie.
yeah, I'm gonna. So right now, any
is that
answer would be
another
boring.
one?
There's one another one.
I won't lie. Is that another one that we have on there? Okay.
Oh yeah, big time. Rush.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
We need a
Scott gets
list.
upset every time we do these. It's pretty funny. Like, I feel like I need to do more of them just because Scott's like
Do what? Do more what?
references.
Oh, what, like singing and
Rain?
whatever references. Oh, okay.
In the rain?
Well, he said singing. I was
Hold
wondering if he
on one
was talking
second.
about in the
I'm
rain.
on a thing. Sorry.
Scott, goodbye.
What is it? Is
Is
it
it-
time? Are we done?
It's
Are we
time.
both leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both leaving.
Actually, before you guys leave, let me just make sure I do the right thing and say, Toki, Scott, meet Miriam.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet
Hello,
you.
gents. Lovely to meet you.
We've been hanging out for an hour here. It's been fun, but they're gonna head out. I just want to make sure you guys got to see each other and say hello before we kick things off.
That's
Toki,
very cool.
Scott,
Thank you.
any questions?
All right.
Any questions? Anything you want to make sure I cover here? Okay, great. Thanks, Scott. Toki, anything from you? Fantastic. This was awesome, guys. Appreciate y'all showing up. I had to find a way to rug them. Every show, people stick around to see who's gonna rug who. So it's just been fun getting to do that to them every single time. And when they're fast enough, they do it to me. Wow, Sander's the man. This is awesome. So, but just so you know, we got this streaming in a few different platforms, and I'm hoping this goes well because I will get to repost it later on. I'll probably put it on my own YouTube channel so that we can watch this back and see how it all started. Do me a favor though, kick us off with where, well, not where, but how you got to where you are today, because I don't think I'm going to do justice explaining to people how awesome you are, how connected you are, and how, neck deep you are in the commodity world.
That's awesome of you to say. And it's lovely to do this with you, Action. And I'm so looking forward to meeting everyone who hangs out with you on this podcast and beyond, and every other platform you're going to put this on. Look, I think you're trying to say I'm old and you can't quite go back to explaining all the things that brought me here. But maybe the best place to start without doing a boring bio bit is I am old. I started my
You're gonna play like Sarah McLachlan in the back, like in the arms of. Is that where we're going with this?
See, that already tells you, because if I was going to call someone old, I'd be on like Joni Mitchell, right?
Oh,
like
no.
go like. No, but seriously, I've been, I grew up in commodities. Before that, I was in the government and non-government sector across the former Soviet Union. So kind of started there and then grew up in Shell, the big oil company, sometimes the world's largest, sometimes second or third, depending on the day. Most of the time, I've built new businesses and new profit models on really big existing infrastructure and flows, but building new technology into it. I most recently ran Shell's global origination and investments product business across global oil and crude oil products and all of that stuff. And on the side, around 2016, with a bunch of my friends who happened to be sort of C-suite of other commodity trading houses and banks, we started building blockchain ventures. So we started building ventures to solve the problems that we knew we all had in-house, but we also knew that they really needed mass deployment to actually scale. So, the very first one we built launched to 67% of the Brent crude traders using it on day one. And that was 2018. Lots more came out of that holding company we put together to build a lot of these ventures. I was chairperson of the board. And we started, you start seeing both worlds, right? And that's about when I started straddling these two worlds, and you're getting calls from everyone, whether they're in crypto or they're in commodities. I even got invited to OPEC, which, if you're an oil person, is as big as it gets. The Secretary General of OPEC is tweeting about my talk. And so you start to go, whoa, okay, there's something really interesting in the gap between these two worlds. And by 2021, 2022, you could see that crypto, and I'm really talking about DeFi infrastructure, cryptography, Web3, and all of those business models, they're ready for prime time, and they need to be deployed outside of the niche and become part of how we operate in the real world. So hence Water and Neo, and trying to do all of that, which is bridging these two gaps, bringing DeFi business models into commodities, and really bringing the genius of DeFi and crypto talent into what is a closed market to build something fundamentally new that expands both.
Okay, so what does a closed market mean? Can't just anybody trade commodities though?
No. Nice try. Look, it's a commodity. So when I talk commodities, I'm talking oil products, which is anything you'd buy in a gas station, and beyond, agriculture, much more open than oil. And we're talking metals and minerals. So basically everything that builds our life, right? The foundation of the global economy. But the way the markets are structured is, there's so much risk. There's so much risk, and the bets you have to take to participate are so high that fortunes are made, fortunes are lost. And in the middle, the compliance layer to make sure people don't mess up and people don't hurt people, like physically blow them up or steal from them, is so high that no, most people can't participate in the commodity supply chain. You certainly can't buy, sell, and trade oil the way you would anything else unless you're going through some ETF or something.
So, all right, I talk about this all the time. People are out there trying to come up with these RWAs, and it's like, we're going to tokenize everything. And I'm going over saying, why? It makes no sense for you to tokenize half of the things you're talking about. So if you're not like opening up the market to more people, enabling more people to trade, if you're not improving the velocity of the trade itself, having the liquidity there so that people can get in and get out, it doesn't make sense. Like, you have to meet certain criteria in my mind for, RWAs to actually make sense. Do you think that when it comes to commodities, that's there? Is that availability there where people, it will open up the markets? Obviously, like, I think that you already answered, because not everybody has access to these commodities. Like, I'm working with somebody that does uranium right now, and that's obviously not something that most people have access to. So they opened up a brand new market, which is awesome. But are there enough of those out there to create a brand new marketplace?
Well, I think about it differently. I love your question, which is, to what ends? Why do any of this stuff, right? If you're creating a hammer looking for a nail, it's a waste of everyone's time, money, and resources. And that happens day in and day out. But if you look at my world, which is, let's talk oil, and let's get really specific, right? Oil in the ground is financed by the super majors, like the Shells, the BPs, the Saudis, Saudi Aramcos of this world. It's traded by the world's largest trading houses, and each of them make billions and billions in profit every year, just moving molecules. And it's sold to the world's largest consumers, right? That end-to-end supply chain, imagine that across everything, whether it's copper or lithium ion for your car, etc. All of that today, the financing in it is really limited. And the financing limited, I would say, a little bit by design, a little bit by necessity, right? A little bit by necessity because you can't have dodgy money in there. And even the people participating left, right, and center are going to jail constantly. They're getting defrauded. I have a slide I'm doing in Rio next week of just the press clippings from 2024 of how many people went to jail and how many billions were stolen from commodity traders. So it's risky. It's not, it's not for the faint of heart. And so there's a compliance layer, which, limits participation. But if you address that, which DIDs and portable KYC and all of the stuff DeFi and Web3 is so comfortable with, that addresses it. So now you know who you're doing business with, who you're getting money from, whose money you're transacting with, and where your stuff's going with track and trace. And we do all of that, but so do many others, right? So you understand who you're doing business with and what business you're doing. Now, let's inject capital, and let's inject capital into this. And in doing so, open it up to more people, because the part of this that's sort of, elite and exclusive by design is who wants to share billions of profits. I think last year, the commodity traders sat on $120 billion of profit from trading, right? And that's, I don't own the resource. I don't buy the resource. I just connect these two. And the gateway to trading is liquidity, right? So then I look on the crypto side of the world, and I see two things, which, kind of, one makes me sad, one makes me happy. One is the amount of money being lost and thrown away by decent, hardworking humans who are getting sucked into these pump and dump schemes and meme coins. And I'm going, oh my God, Even my best friend has a crypto portfolio. And I'm like, what? You did what coin in where? And how much did you lose? Every day, right? That shouldn't happen. But we need to create an outlet for hardworking, smart people who want to participate in the economics of this world so that they're part of the global economy. And I think we can do that. The other thing that's really exciting is if you see how much real wealth is being created in crypto, right? Digital assets are worth, I think, $3 trillion yesterday I checked, right? And so that is $3 trillion that's really waiting to be deployed in something material. And I've got about a $2 trillion financing gap in commodities. Let's go play.
I mean, I'm of the mindset of, yes, let's go play, like let's do this thing, but it still doesn't get people excited in crypto, in my opinion, because they're not seeing the 500x's that they can do with gambling away in meme coins of the world. How do you bridge that gap? Like, how do we get people excited to actually trade things that have real value?
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, because when I talk to the commodity traders about this, their answer is, come on, those guys are high on the meme coins. That's their thing. And I'm sure there's a portion of participants that's their gig, and that's cool, right? It's the same way that there's a portion of humans who will go to a casino and enjoy that, and every once in a while I will too. It's fun. But that's not investing, that's a casino. If you're actually looking at investing and participating, then bigger prizes, sustainable returns, and something that feels more secure as part of an investment portfolio, in my mind, is where the grown-up factions go. And so if you're a crypto whale and you've got, whether 10 million bucks or 100 million bucks of digital assets sitting in a vault, and you're borrowing against that to invest, I'm pretty sure you're not doing meme coins, right? So really, for me, the bridge is between real investors and real market participants, big or small, right? I don't care if it's, my best friend who's doing a few grand every now and then, or a whale from either world, or family offices who today still can't participate in commodities. Tokenization allows honest, like sustainable, fractional ownership and participation in commodity markets. The other thing that's really interesting is there is speculation, right? The derivative market and financial instruments in commodities, that's just speculation. So, I used to, the first blockchain project we did was for Brent crude. Brent crude sets the global oil price, but really it's about a, couple dozen ships that come out of the Brent Forties field in the North Sea. Every one of those ships is bought, sold, and traded hundreds of times before it actually delivers physically. And whoever holds that hot potato on the last day is, has got to take it. And in the middle, that price will change God knows how many times. That's where speculation happens in my world, is in the financial instruments, and obviously longer term bets on the real indices.
I love that you actually know about this stuff. Like, people think I'm weird when I'm like, yeah, I know how the prices are set. North Sea oil fields is a big deal, but that oil, it's the light and sweet kind of oil that they're trading over there, and people are like, you're what? I'm like, I need to find somebody else to talk to.
We can be friends. It's all right.
Honestly, it boils down to me being bored. Like, I've been in crypto for well over a decade, and I'm looking around going, okay, great. I know how all of these things work, but where are the real assets coming from? And let me look into those, because like I do whatever I can when it comes to investing, to invest in real things like lithium that you mentioned, like things that are literally real assets that will never go to zero. I say that now, but look at what happened to the price of oil a few years back. We went in a negative.
Only
right?
once ever.
Only once.
Yes.
I definitely bought some. I was pretty happy. It was a pretty good time in my life. Not gonna lie, it was an exciting time there. but it's real. Like, it's different than what we do in digital assets a lot of times, which is people just literally making things up out of thin air and expecting it to have value, and there's literally nothing to back it. It's almost like the dollar. That was supposed to be a joke.
Wait, do you need a mic drop for that?
Yeah, I should probably just have a mic around here just to do that every once in a while.
Were you practicing that, or did it just come?
No, it comes. It happens a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Like, that's the thing that I see in commodities that I don't see in a lot of different, RWAs right now in crypto. It's like, let's tokenize, I don't know, like cotton candy at some random fair. Like, okay, great. Like, that doesn't have any real value to it in my mind. Like, when can we get to the point where people actually not only understand this, but are really tokenizing? Because you did it with water. So let's focus on that real quick. Why did you, here, and I'll put it up so that people can see what I'm talking about. Why did you actually go into this realm to kind of kick off what you've done with Neo Holdings? Like, why is water, the first asset to be brought out there?
Well, water. I use the name because it's a Bruce Lee reference. So we're talking about every commodity. The name water comes from, I don't know if you remember the Bruce Lee clip where he talks about, he says, be water, my friend, and everything. No, the whole clip
I
about
remember
how,
it.
right? It's, water is incredibly powerful as a substance. It's transparent, it's fluid, it seems friendly, it's necessary. It goes into everything. It looks and takes that mold, and then it turns into ice, and it fundamentally can break all established systems, or it can turn the most jagged piece of rock into sand. So the resilience, power, and ability of water to infiltrate everything is why I called water, our layer one water. And so, that water is really just an app store, a DApp store for commodity applications, where we provide the connective tissue of identity. So all of the compliance stuff can be streamlined and taken care of, and then real trade and real liquidity can happen. With Neo, we build and operationalize, and we bring to the table some of the use cases that we think are valuable. But what I hope happens is, it kind of sets the scenes and invites everyone else to come and build on it too. And we had to build an independent L1 because every other commodity tech venture out there is built on a closed private blockchain, which is basically a spreadsheet. So I'm baffled and confused as to why we used to pretend, or we still do as an industry, that we're really in this world when we're taking the tech and putting it on a spreadsheet and not tapping into the talent or the open source code or any of the genius that actually happens when you get decentralized.
No, that's a huge deal. Like, it's almost like people that come out to crypto and they're like, yeah, we're running this, brand new decentralized thing. I was like, great, what's it running on? Oh, we're on AWS.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? It's like you're trying to use just the nomenclature of the space while doing nothing for it. Huge disconnect, huge disconnect. And talking about you being an L1, I'll bring this back up because I think it's just so stinking cool. If we scroll down here, there's this little thing at Rio, and then I kept looking into it. I went into Neo's site, and then I finally came across this thing here that you're gonna be at.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, we're partners with Avalabs, and I'm a big fan of the Avalabs LT and the Avalanche Tech, and genuinely their understanding of what it takes to do real trade at the speed of trade, with the security that trade requires, with the infrastructure and the immediate settlement, like all of that stuff that trade requires at a real world scale. And John Nahas and some of those guys are also ex-commodity traders. So I'm talking to people who not only understand and speak my language, but really get it. And they've really built the underlying, technology infrastructure, mechanisms for consensus, etc., in a way that kind of allows us to leapfrog so much of what's out there in crypto. And I want to say a few more words about these guys and
Please.
Avalanche, because I genuinely think they are the best place for real world assets that want to genuinely trade and move in crypto. And I say that after having tried a few and we ran a really strict process, and we've got a lot of, I don't talk about it, but we have token holders who are very large industries and very large industrial partners, and we've had their chief technology officers and CIOs kick the tires on everywhere in crypto, and we didn't land with Avalanche lightly. And so I keep telling people I'm really excited to be home. People who understand the language, who understand what it actually means to go after the real world, and who are really able to do so with the infrastructure they've created.
What I think is odd, it's not a bad thing, it's just odd.
Yeah.
AVAX, like the buzz that I hear on socials is so different. Yes, you have all these commodity people in there, but man, like the gamers, they love AVAX. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like completely different worlds, yet they all kind of come together because of Ava Labs, which is wild to me for that to exist. And I guess it's a different type of RWA because as a gamer, like I grew up in this world of gaming, right? Like I want to own my assets. Like that's something that's huge for me.
Yeah.
And what I would love to see is that crossover of the people that are here for the fun and games, the fun side of things, to finally kind of get like, hey, assets can be digital, but you also have these other assets over here that you should probably be looking into as an adult, and like maybe stop playing as many games and get
You're
into
so
the real
right,
world.
because I don't know if you know John Linden of Mythical Games. He's the majority owner, CEO of Mythical, and it's really interesting because we brainstorm a lot on exactly this, right? The gamification of your consumption is really interesting, because you should and could easily get to a world where real world commodities are gamified in all the games you and everyone else likes to play. And so they're really close. And the thing about Avalanche is I think, good infrastructure is good infrastructure. And if it can withstand the test of both of those extremes, that's pretty cool.
No, it's really awesome. And that there's so much that you can gain from each other, because let's be serious, like your commodity talk isn't all that exciting for most people. But
gaming, come on, it's so exciting. What are you talking about?
Yeah, for me, for you, but like not the general public. That's what I'm like, yeah, oil fields, let's talk about that. Like this is fun. But like most people are like, I don't really care about this. But if you have both worlds, right? You have the fun and exciting things, I don't want to call it clickbait, but that's almost what it ends up being. It's shiny, it's pretty. And then you bring in like the real deal to go along with it. I think that's where the discoverability really takes place. It's allowing people that would have never been exposed to something to finally see it. And to me, like that's what AVAX does. It allows people to actually find things that they would otherwise never be exposed to. So yeah, maybe your gamers don't have as much money to invest. They don't have what it takes for for you to kick off your L1 and really knock it out of the park. But they talk, they are vocal, they are loud, therefore they are going to be seen. They're going to get in front of people, and if you can be alongside of those people, it's a huge win. I mean, that's right now, like I'm doing karate combat in Dubai, and like I have a bunch of different people advertising on the stream because people want to see the fight. It doesn't have to be necessarily specific or related to it. They want the coverage. They want the eyeballs that are going to be looking at that fight to see, oh, by the way, this token is doing X, Y, and Z. This is how it works. Let's get back into the fight. So that discoverability that AVAX brings to the table because of all of the games and the fun things that are being built on there is huge.
Yeah. And I also think it's not just about who has what money to spend. And I love, you're right, the voice is important. The other thing that's really interesting is the creativity and the developer talent that is in gaming, right? That is one of the most powerful, valuable assets any ecosystem could have. And if you get lucky enough to capture the imagination of 10, 12, 20 of those people and they build the next great thing, that's awesome. Like, one of my favorite things is just thinking about how, no one called Tim Cook and said, I'm going to build Uber. They just built it and they put it on the App Store. And then it was like, we just revolutionized transport. That's what happens when you're mixing in circles where creative, smart people who can build things are also mixing. And all it takes is capturing the imagination, of a few next Uber founders.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And having the platform for people to do that, I think really is how AVAX is knocking this thing out of the park. But
Well, I also think on water, where we finance and we open a lot of the doors for anyone who wants to play in the commodities world with commodities and Web3. So alongside AVAX, we obviously provide a lot of support to anyone who wants to go into our vertical, which is commodities.
well, that's exactly where I was going to get into, and I'm really trying to understand, how do we go from Neo Holdings into building the Water L1?
Well, I resigned and decided I was, you need to build this new independent place to hold everything that wants to touch commodities. And having come from this world of everything is closed and it sits on private blockchains for privacy reasons, for the fact that none of the existing blockchains were scalable, fast, or secure enough to, ever put any real commodity trading on it. And the fact that until you cracked KYC and all this stuff around laundered money, you were never going to get into open Web3. So you have to build a new layer one to house it. I don't need to invent most of the tech. You kind of need to just pull from everywhere. And then you put the really smart business logic on it that makes sense for commodities. And then you start building the use cases. So, we created Neo and then went, okay, now let's build the L1. This is our app store for commodities. Let's get some of the commodity participants and crypto participants in as co-founders and token holders. So we have a really smart brain trust. And now let's start building these use cases on top of the tech stack. So Neo is the use case engine, ecosystem developer, but we're not exclusive to water. I think you have to be much more open than that. And water is the L1 for housing commodity applications.
Okay, so how does water actually do that? I know that you have that water ID, I think is something that I've talked to you about before. People don't want a KYC in crypto. Is it viable to go this route?
Well, it depends. You don't have to KYC to be on water. But
Okay.
water ID, think of it like your Apple ID to access anything water. And you don't have to have it. But if you're going to get into an ecosystem or an exchange where we're moving oil owned by a super major and you want to finance it, you're going to have to. And so your water ID, let's say you go into a DEX and it's not whitelisted, you do whatever you want on there, but that's fine. You can go in there. None of my business. But then you want to come into a whitelisted, liquidity pool on that DEX. You go through and get some verifications. But that verification, the cool thing about it is it'll carry through with your water ID across every application you ever go and play with in water. And we hope in the future in anywhere else that wants to play with and invest in and participate in commodities. So you get verified once, and I'm afraid you have to. If you're going to put your money into someone else's oil, then the KYC requirements that those people impose, it's not me, it's not water. It's counterpart to counterpart requirements.
I love that. I've been asking for something like this for so
Really?
long.
Are you just saying that Or is that
No,
true?
I'm dead serious about this because
I love
I
that.
hate the
Cool.
fact that we are always like, oh, KYC for this, KYC for that. Like, we're in a
Right?
space where we're trying
Yeah.
to limit how many people have access to my data. If I know one party that I can trust with my data and that party can verify it with others, why wouldn't I go that route? It's the
Well, we've
safest way
gone
to
one
do it.
step beyond that. I'm so glad you said this because I didn't bring it up and my product guys would kill me. We've gone one step beyond this, right? For us, all of your identity data will sit on your own machine in your own vault. No one will really ever have access to it. It can even, we don't even use things like persona or the biometrics verification. We're building now our own versions that allow us to bypass anything centralized. So the data is yours. It stays with you. The proof of verification, proof of reputation, proof of trust carries with you. And so what you end up getting after a while is, let's say you and I have done business. Let's say me and Shell have done business. Let's say me and, I don't know, some DeFi protocol have done business. The sort of the proof and verification of me being trusted by them goes with me. And actually, that's a much more robust way to do KYC than what happens today, because most of the fraud in commodities happens with individuals that someone in our world always knows is dodgy, but we can't tell each other because we get sued for libel. Now, if I don't have to tell you that so-and-so is dodgy because so-and-so's vault carries this like verification record, that's a lot easier for everyone.
It's a lot easier. Yeah. I mean, there's no liability between parties to like, quote unquote, share information without sharing information. That's huge.
It's sovereign data. I own my data. I share it with whoever I want. You don't own it, dude.
Right now I don't. Yeah. Right now, most of us don't own anything. Let's be serious. Which is why I love the space and like the goal of actually having sovereignty over your assets. Kind of a big deal to me.
Me too.
And just knowing the fact that like ultimately I don't own anything and that everything can literally disappear at a click of somebody's button, right? And we see this type of censorship a lot all over the place. Maybe from your voice not being heard or even being canceled. This is one of the most common things that people complain about, and why a lot of people end up turning either libertarian or pro crypto. It's really because they want sovereignty over things.
Well, there's a utopia. I mean, at the end of that, there's a utopia that's incredibly powerful, right? Being self-sovereign, there are philosophers who've been talking about this for a very long time. The fact that we trust all of our information and all of our data, all of our truth to centralized intermediaries in the middle while we talk about self-actualization is absurd and unnecessary, frankly.
Well, you mentioned utopia. Utopia is something that we never actually achieve. It's like an imagined place, right? How close to it can we get? Because like I do everything in my power to try to get as close as possible for as much as it makes sense. It's me growing, the chickens in my house, having fun with my kids, growing all sorts of foods, like all sorts of things. Like I'm at like over 15 fruit trees now. And like we literally grow everything. And it's for fun. It's for growth of my kids, like showing them like, hey, you can be sustaining. You can know how to do some of these things for yourself. But ultimately, I would love to be able to say, you don't need anyone else. You can take care of yourself. How close to that utopia can we really get to, you think?
Well, this is personal, not professional, but a lot of
Good. I like personal.
where the thing that's always rubbed me the wrong way, and why I do most of this is if you look at the history of like human self-sovereignty, technology and big tech, right? Whether it's, we get excited because we say, for example, Africa leapfrogged brick and mortar. And I go, how is that good? Like when my mom used to go to the bank in Iran, in her little village, people knew who she was. And she didn't need a government ID, or she didn't need to pay a cell phone fee. She didn't need to pay for Wi-Fi. She didn't need to do any of this stuff to have access to banking. right? And it was really cheap. Now, if you live in Africa and you want to have a bank account, you need a cell phone. You need to pay for connectivity. You need to be able to charge it, which is actually hard when your power gets disconnected constantly. You need to be literate. You need to be comfortable using this stuff. You need to get not defrauded in the process and give all your stuff to everyone. You need some sort of digital identity, and then you need to pay for some sort of centralized machine to verify you and give you a bank account. My gosh, how ridiculous is that? So everything we've done, and then think about food, think about energy, everything we've done is create really powerful multinationals that sit between us and what we used to be able to access without any of this stuff. Those intermediaries make a lot of money and they don't want to go away. Some of them are valuable, some of them are absolutely leeches on value. So I think, utopia for me is getting closer and closer to a world where any intermediary in my life is genuinely adding value versus being sort of a blocker who has to take rent on transactions that they don't get to take rent on. Pull that off, I'd be pretty happy for my son to grow up in this world.
Okay, Em, we are going to talk deep in now because I think you're going to be a big fan of decentralized physical infrastructure. Let's talk about getting Wi-Fi all over Africa, India, and everywhere else. Like, that's my world. That's literally what I live day in, day out, is talking about deep ins for exactly that reason. Like, I know blockchain technology is awesome, and it's all a matter of figuring out where and how we can deploy it. Like, literally, like my YouTube channel, like the things that I trend with are, a little bit of RWAs. I would say that's second best to deep in networks. I mean, these networks make a huge difference and impact because it's real people helping other people get things done. That's part of my utopia in that sense, because what people don't realize, most of the revenue that people bring in Africa gets paid to telecom. Like, the cost of, to operate telecoms in Africa is not that high. And yet they're taking most of people's monies out there because they charge per gigabyte for everything. And people are data hungry. So talking about extracting
because
value,
life now exists
exactly.
only in your phone, like infrastructure for
Yep.
life exists
That's
so much in
exactly
your
it.
phone. Yeah.
So like that's what motivates me, right? So within the RWA world, I think DeepN is actually a big part of that, and people just haven't connected the dots yet. Because I mean, if you think about even the nomenclature that we're using nowadays, it's pretty new. Like, people are using DeepN for the last 2.5 years, roughly. If you look any time before that, nobody was actually using that word, and now they're using it for everything. And it seems like until we get to a point where it's no longer a buzzword but a staple of how things should operate, we're kind of stuck just being, in the hype cycle of things. So I'm waiting for the hype cycle to literally go away so we can focus on what's important, focus on how actually build these things out and, get real value out of it. Because right now, I think we're in that stage where if you launch something, it's going to do well. People are going to make a bunch of money, but we're not at mass adoption quite yet. And we're not going to get there until not only prices come down, but people understand the value of it. I think that's the biggest one. And I think that's probably similar to what's happening in the commodities world, because I don't think most people, or, the general public, not when I say most people, I'm talking about people that might not even understand commodities, until they get it, we're not there yet. So a lot of room for big players to make a lot of money until the rest of the world kind of comes into focus and understands how this thing actually works.
And make a lot of money while adding value to the society you're operating in. To the thing, if you think about our resource models traditionally, it's you go into a country, you export that country's resources because somewhere else is richer and can pay for it. But often what you do in that export process is you're exporting prosperity with it, right? I mean, like one data point that just always boggles my mind. Sorry, I'm an energy nerd because I grew up in energy. But, the pool cleaners in North America alone, if we turn them off, the little machines that clean people's pools, that would save enough electricity to power all of Western Africa. Where today, one of the things I did when I was I used to run trading supply chain in Africa for Shell. And one of the last things we did there was sort of a survey of trying to see if you are Nigerian, and Nigeria is one of the world's largest producers of oil and oil products, so incredibly resource wealthy. What are the things you wish you could get from this resource wealth that you don't have today? And we thought about we expected all sorts of things. Wait, I'm going to make you guess. What do you think the vast majority came back and told us they wish they could have from, having so much energy wealth?
Their lights on 24 hours a day would be my guess.
Well, that's what you would think, right? That would have been my guess too. What they came back is, please tell us which hours and on which days we can have electricity, so that on those days we can get somewhere, plug our things in so they can charge.
So it's even
Like,
worse.
think about how
the bar is so
heartbreaking.
low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how heartbreaking it is. And then you talk about decentralized and small infrastructure. It's not just in blockchain, in everything. You can go small, right? You can go to it. You can provide smart grids. And it's one of the first startups I was in was building micro scale liquefied natural gas production and gas production facilities, which you then could go and build mini grids all over a place like Africa. You could build these mini grids and connect them, and then you have smart grids and smart utilities. That gets really interesting.
So we're getting lunch tomorrow, because I can talk about this all day.
Well, and you also, the other thing is, if we care and if people care, what it takes is, a lot of capex, right?
Yeah.
And the capex that's being spent is often being spent, you're talking about billions of dollars, and people put that into economies where they feel they'll get a more sustainable return. So if we're ever going to do something big, things like that matter, but we're going to have to raise the sort of money that the super majors and oil companies have.
It's one of those things. Same thing with privacy and security. Like, I feel like nobody really cares about it too much until it impacts them directly.
Yeah.
It's sad. Nice cup.
Oh my God. It's exactly the same, right?
Yeah, bought them Costco last year. It was pretty good.
I bought them from the Iranian store in Westwood, because that's where my mother makes me go buy her tea and fruit.
I love it. That's awesome.
Stuff. It's so good. Except I don't understand. It's got this weird vent thing at the bottom.
Yeah, so it doesn't pop. That's all. No, it's good. The vent actually helps in comparison to the old version.
Oh, so you have like multiple versions of this.
Well,
I'm new to the modem world,
yeah,
so
this is good. This is a good one. This is the one you want to have. The kid broke the other one, so it's fine. This is the only one I got
these
now.
break really fast too. I've already broken two.
They do. It's
really fast.
Glass is a little thin. But talking about energy here, 6.6 billion is the number that I always remember. 6.6 billion kilowatt hours annually for Christmas lights in the U.S. That's enough to power Ethiopia for the whole year.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we are so wasteful, but it's also what you said is, until we care, really care, to do something different, nothing will change. Yeah, I led this sort of, the UN and Rockefeller Center run these annual programs to look at how do you bring various sustainable development goals to life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I co-led one looking at the use of land and biodiversity and etc., because I think commodities, they all come out of the land. So until you figure out how to use that properly, thinking about agriculture, etc., interesting, but let's go deeper. One of the data points I learned doing this from one of the NGOs was, if you think about brands like organic and fair trade, they've been around for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Their market penetration is less than 5%, which means fewer than 5% of the humans who buy care, right? So trying to go, but then you have places like Erewhon or some of these specialty, and I'm a yoga mom, so I can say it, yoga mom shops, where you will go and you will look and you'll see, hey, this is like the activity my consumption finances, and I like it, so I will pay a little bit more because I can see the farm it came from, or I can see the mine it came from. But you have more and more of us care less every day, which is kind of sad. Statistically true.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like a conversation about a lot of people are starting to talk about it. Like even Joe Rogan a couple of years back started talking about the cobalt mines for his iPhones. Like I'll pay more for it for my iPhone if I knew there weren't kids having to grab this thing out of the ground that's going to shorten their lifespan by decades. So I think that the visibility is going to be a big part of it. But it is second best to actually experience it firsthand. Like I have the benefit. This is going to sound crazy. The benefit of growing up in Brazil. Like I was there until I was 13 years old. I experienced all kinds of the lights going out, not having water, my street filling up with sewer water whenever it rained too hard. All that fun stuff that I have never and will never see in the United States. So I have a little bit more perspective. I wish that like part of a executive training would be to dump somebody in the middle of a third world country and say, figure it out for a month. I think it would change a lot of people's mindsets on how they see the world. But we're not quite there yet. So that visibility, I think, is what we can work on for, globally speaking. It's, again, I bring up that Joe Rogan thing because that's what he did. Millions of people finally saw, the conditions that these people are enduring day in, day out. And until I think it's common knowledge and people can look at each other and goes, you know how that came about, right? I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
And there's a lot, we do watermarks, which actually do exactly that, right? And we've done some of this work with very large mining companies, multinationals, and OEMs, like auto manufacturers, to bring that journey to life and make it, immutable and visible, etc. The truth of the matter is, even when you do that and you actually start to see really clearly, what labor practices, which is what you're saying, is there slave labor, is there child labor, am I buying things from a country where women are regularly raped and pillaged, or am I treating them with respect, and children, biodiversity, whatever your values are? I think that's where this future has to go, because what organic and fair trade have taught me is when you start to create a central idea of good, a centralized idea of good that someone else defines that requires consensus, we won't align. Because I could be driving down a street and I might see gas station X and be like, I don't really want to go in there because I don't like their CO2 footprint. And someone else might see it and go, I want to go in there because I prefer the countries they do business with and I don't care about CO2. Or you get into a tariff world where you see both of those things and you go, actually, I really prefer to just pay less and not worry about the source of this thing being some dodgy country my country doesn't want to support. And having that choice, and this is why like decentralized infrastructure, decentralized asset IDs, trackers are really cool, because you can be the master of that decision. You can have the criteria you care about. And if Joe Rogan cares about children and child labor and someone else cares about slave labor, good on you. Both of those are good to care about. I don't need to throw into that how I feel about CO2 and force you to buy into something that has stuff you don't care about. So most of this regulation and all of these standards, they're centralized. And it reminds me of like Congress passing a law. There's like one good thing I like, 15 things that no one cares about, 16 pork barrels. And then you're like, whoa, I don't think that's
we
good.
like bundling things in the US. Yeah. It's rough. I wish we could just literally say yay or nay to individual things. Like that would be the ideal way of going about it. But you're right. Blockchain tech can actually just, bring it to light. It's not even changing the way it looks. It's just letting people know this thing exists and this is what it looks like. That transparency aspect of it is, to me, everything, right? Like I don't want to force anyone to do anything. I think that's the worst way of going about just anything in this world. But giving people the choice to make the decision for themselves, I think, is where we start to get it right. Because regardless of what decision you make, Well, now I can, see if we align, see if we're compatible, see if I want to work with you. That's a much better way of
If
going
I
about
want
it
to
than
buy
saying you must do
whatever you're
this.
selling, right? And not only
Exactly.
do I want to buy this thing you're selling that came from this root. The cool thing is the tech can do it. The business models make sense. And any of us who actually care to engage with the world that way, we can start creating it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're absolutely right. The only child labor I support are my kids.
Mine's 13, so he refuses to be used in any sort
Oh
of
no,
way that
mine are under
involves
6, so they
chores.
don't have a choice. They're working it. Yeah, no, and but they get paid. That's the other cool thing. Like I don't buy my
Yeah,
kids toys anymore, right? Like I've made a decision with my wife. We don't buy them toys anymore. But
you have to earn
they are earning it. They're literally selling eggs. Like they take care of the chickens.
it.
Eggs are expensive. These kids are making a lot of money. Okay, like it's pretty good money. They can't complain about this one.
Wait, how
Um,
many eggs a day do like the
so
chickens lay?
right now that it warmed up, we're probably getting about 18 or so.
Is there more when it's warm,
Well,
or
yeah,
do
it's
they
more when
cozy
it's
up
warm.
more
Yeah,
when
so
it's
the more
cold?
sunlight, the more eggs you're gonna get.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so it's like the peak is 18. When it's like wintertime, we're getting like 9. That was a rough time because we'd end up eating a lot of the eggs too. So they can't
Don't do
put them in
that.
little cute
And the
boxes.
kids can't have anything.
Exactly.
Just
No, but
eating your
they're
kids'
making.
money,
Don't
dude.
worry. They're pretty wealthy, I guess you can say, as far as like for toys and all of that. That like that's where
Yeah,
their money comes from. So I make them like draw on the little carton and like
I love that.
it's awesome. Like at Mud Boys Farm is what we call it. So
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty adorable. Not gonna lie, it's pretty adorable.
that's super cute. You have to show us a picture.
Yes, I will share with you.
Okay, good, good.
But that's the whole thing, right? Like I am the privacy aspect of it. You will
Mhm.
not find a picture of my kids online.
Oh,
I
mine
was
either. Well, unless he's
traumatized.
put stuff up,
Right,
which I can't
you
stop.
have a 13-year-old, right? I have a 6-year-old, a
Yeah,
4-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. I was
you don't
traumatized.
want those up there.
Yeah, I was traumatized as a kid. Like my entire childhood is online because my dad didn't give me a choice. You can literally find
Really?
so much about me. So like being able to have the autonomy to make the decisions of what goes up and what doesn't, having that option to be private when I choose to be, is so important. And that goes back to having that sovereignty. Like I actually want to own my data? That's kind of a big deal, and I want my kids to be able to make that choice when they're older as well. So I'm never going to expose them to something that they might
Yeah.
not want. I want that choice to be up to them. I do share pictures with friends. Like if you go on my Telegram, you're gonna see a bunch of pictures of my kids because like with friends, I send stuff out, I share it, but publicly, very limited. And it's a choice. It's a choice that I choose to make for myself, so it doesn't essentially make them upset later on in life, if you know what I mean. Because I want
I
them to have
love
that
that.
option.
It's so refreshing because I always thought that your generation was living everything on social media. I grew up in a world where I just don't like anything that isn't about who I am professionally or whoever my public persona is out there at all. And I try that. So many people tell me I need to do Instagram, all this stuff. You need to get your message out there. I don't understand how pictures of me are going to get my message out there. I don't get it. And eventually you have to wear like fewer and fewer things because it gets less interesting, right? No one wants to see that, but I don't want to see it. And then but like my son and his friends, they have TikTok, they have all of this stuff, their life's out there. And I'm just horrified at knowing how much they share with the world. It's interesting to hear you talk about how you're going out of your way to protect them from that,
Yeah,
because I do hope there's a backlash at some point and we kind of get a little bit more thoughtful about what we put out there. It's there forever and for
it is.
everyone.
It is. And I'll tell you, this boils down to marketing. And I can talk about this for an hour with you, but the real reason why people do it is the deep, deep desire for connection. That's what it boils down to. I want
I
somebody to
agree.
see me. I want to be heard. I want to be seen, and vice versa. If I post a picture of myself
Yeah.
on like X, for example, and I say just GM and just giving people a little good morning, it does really well because people are looking to connect with people. That's
Wait,
what it
is it
boils down
before
to.
you've washed your face and you look groggy, or is it just a normal photo?
It doesn't matter. That's the thing.
It
Like
just really makes a
people
connection,
are
even
looking
if it's
for
groomed and
authenticity.
clean. I like that.
Authenticity is what it boils down to. Like that's what people are
Mhm.
craving right now. And there are tiers to this, right? Like I can start an Instagram account and post all the pictures from when I travel, all the yachts that we're going to be on, like in Dubai next week, for example, and it will just do super, super well because people want to envision themselves living that kind of life. I just don't care enough to do that.
I just feel like some of that's private, but that it's an age thing, right? And I grew up in an industry. You're going
You
back
make
to
it sound like you're
commodities.
super old, and I'm like a
It's not that,
19-year-old
but
kid.
if you think about if you think about the world of tech, California, crypto, so very different from the world of commodity trading across the Middle East, Asia, Africa, and Europe, where I've spent the majority of my life. And you learn that there's real value to maintaining secrecy, because when you're a trader or you're a deal maker, oversharing is how you lose your share of the pie. And so it's fascinating for me to come into this world, and the visibility into everything, right? I love open source. I love the fact that I can see what's happening on any blockchain just by going and looking at it. That stuff's crazy cool. But I grew up in a world that's designed to avoid that. So, again, that's where the opportunity is, right? How do you leverage this transparency, visibility, and the collaboration model of decentralization and Web3 for a world that for a very long time has protected its secrets, because that's how you make disproportionate profit.
Personally,
Yeah.
crypto mining. That's where it's at. Shout out to Ethiopia and their new dam. You guys are making good power cheap and letting us mine.
What happened to all this saving energy and electrifying Africa and all of those things, right? They're all trade-offs, right? Huge dilemmas.
Bitcoin. Like I'll just go Bitcoin wise. We use more electricity with Christmas lights than actually mining Bitcoin around the world. So
This is true. I know, and the
Bank-
crypto footprint's so much lower than it used to be.
banks, like just Bank of America itself, uses more electricity than Bitcoin mining. So it's very
Is that data point true?
It was at least a couple of years ago. I haven't checked over the
I'm
last
gonna
2
look
years,
that
I would
up.
say.
No,
but
I'm
that's
just
what it-
doing a talk on the footprint of AI, because what's really interesting is AI is going through that same journey, right? At its
Mhm.
beginning, it's gonna just suck up so much energy, and I'm sure it's gonna become much more efficient. But if you think about what it replaces in way of efficiency and human waste and all of the other stuff, I think it's really interesting. So I want to find some data points. If anyone has any factoids, send them to me, because I just think we're so quick to always jump down the throat of the new thing when the
Oh, yeah.
old thing is doing lots worse.
I mean, they said that cars would never take off. I would have replaced my horse with a car. I mean, that would make absolutely no sense. And look at us today. You know what I mean? Like this is what happens with new technologies. People are very quick to judge, very quick to hate on it,
Yeah.
essentially, until it literally changes the world. So you're dead on about AI. Yes, it uses a boatload of electricity. I mean, not only that, you're talking about the manufacturing aspect of it as well. Like the amount of silicon that has to be put out there for these things to actually work is astronomical. Like it's going to increase costs. It's going to be expensive. But it's the same thing that Blue Origin is doing right now, right? Sending rich people to space. I love it. I'm all for it, because for you to lower the barrier to entry, you need the rich people to go out there and have fun with it first. That's how cars were invented, right? People that could afford it, they got out there, they had a little car, and then all of a sudden prices starts to come down, come down, come down. It's just the way that these cycles work. It's going to be expensive at first, but then the prices will come down when there's more competition in the market, when there's more people wanting to actually to participate in this thing. So
drives innovation.
it does. It absolutely does. It's a net positive ultimately, and I'm glad you're talking about it because people need to understand that.
But I need some data points. So if you haven't,
we'll hunt it down. We can do that. That's no problem at all. I have
awesome.
AI.
Yes, do that. Let's use the AI to see what information we can get on AI's consumption. I love that.
Love it. Miriam, I think I can talk to you for a few hours, but I want to make sure that we maybe do this again sometime soon. Let's give it a couple of months and come back to it, because you're working on a lot of things. I think you're going to have a bunch of updates in a few months for us to learn, how many more commodities are going to be listed on water, and everything else that you're building is just super, super exciting. Anything else you want to share with everybody? Any big thoughts, ideas, something they should be looking out for? Are you going to actually, take a leap of faith and put, a podcast out there of sorts at any given time, do your, with your own thing?
That's the plan. A little birdie tells me.
You got to give the pitch. Give the pitch. Come on, you're full screen. Everybody's looking at you.
Oh no, this So the way I see it, right, is this world of Web3 and DeFi, all of this amazing tech, amazing talent, amazing entrepreneurs, many of whom don't know enough about commodities to get excited, or if they're already really excited about it, might be building really cool tech that will never be deployed because they either don't have access to the people who need to deploy it, or they don't really have enough of the know-how on what it takes to be deployed. And so the idea of the podcast, and we're going to call it Landing the Moonshot, is to bring people from commodities, the world of energy, the world of trading, talk to them about the moonshots they've landed. And landing is the operative word, because launching is easy. Landing's is the killer app. And really get into the dilemmas, the opportunities, and the space they see where new technology, innovation, and entrepreneurial force can have a real impact and create a lot of new profit. And it's those conversations with friends from the world of commodities, trade, and also some from the world of crypto. Will you listen?
Of course. No, I can't wait. That's one of the things that I think you're going to bring a lot of value to the table, because you have access to people that are sometimes dipping their toes into this crypto world and might be fully on the commodity side of things. So getting the insight of how people see crypto from the outside in is super valuable. And same thing vice versa, right? People that are in crypto trying to incorporate things that are still Web 2, that huge value in that. Like that bridging the gap aspect of things, I think, is not only going to go far, it's going to be super interesting, because it's conversations that people usually don't get to listen into, right? I almost want to be that fly in the wall listening to these conversations, because I think that's the best feel of a podcast, is not when you're being talked to, but when you're getting to listen in to somebody's conversation. I think that's where we usually get the most value out of things. And yeah, given your background, the connections that you have, and the people that you're able to get to, this is going to be amazing.
I hope so. I hope at least it bridges that gap. And I kind of like to think about mining the gap, right? I spent a lot of time living in London, and every time you get off the train, they tell you to mind the gap between the train and the platform. And I just keep thinking this gap of understanding know-how and access between commodities and Web3 and decentralized tech is so valuable. It needs to be mined the same way we mine for crypto and energy and all that stuff. There's a lot there, and there are a lot of smart people who can talk about it. And hopefully we can create a platform for that engagement.
I love it. Yeah. And I'll be sure to, let everybody know on my socials and everywhere else that Jinjo's on to to listen for that, to look out for that, because I do think it's going to be phenomenal. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time,
so
Miriam.
much.
It's been such a great conversation. Not the
Same
last,
here.
definitely not the last. We'll make sure to do this again, because it's way too good to pass up the opportunity to talk to incredible people in this space.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. Thank you for knowing so much about the world of electricity, power generation, all of this stuff. We
We'll talk
riffed
lithium
on a
mining
lot.
next time. We'll talk lithium mining next time, because I
Okay.
might be slightly invested in that one as well.
Happy to. Happy to. Lots
Awesome.
of love. Have a wonderful day.
I appreciate you and everybody that's listening in. It's phenomenal having the opportunity to talk to you all and just share a little bit of insights as far as where this world's at and where we want to see it go. So thank you. Thanks everybody listening in. Y'all.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Gen Z is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a hive.
No, we do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're back at the Gen Z Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.